Check out woozymood.com for anything and everything collectibles.
Hello fellas, Sunspot here, give you guys my review of the Playmates Classic Voltron Blue Lion and Yellow Lion. Finally, these have finally come out in stores, and I do have dirt on my table, which is very annoying. Found these guys at my local Target, as well as the rest of the wave. If you do follow my channel, I did a live stream opening these guys and forming Voltron, and of course, he is very, very cool. However, before we get into these beautiful little cats, we are going to take a look at the packaging, for which I know no one will care about except for a hand select of people. So there you go with that. Both are quite similar. Just says there's an image of the Blue Lion to say classic legendary Blue Lion and the full form Voltron logo. And has this nice grid format in the back with an image of Voltron combined, which I think is pretty cool looking. Do like that 80s style grid, as well as the insignia. And here's the Blue Lion with all of his accessories. The logo again shows you how to fire the missiles, and a brief bio of the character if you'd like to read up. So yeah, there you go with that. And Yellow Lion is really nothing too different. Again, the image, title, nice background, and yeah, and here's the bio. So very similar to what we've gotten before. Not gonna lie about that, but let's get finally into the review, and we're gonna start with the Blue Lion here, who I think has the, well, I've always liked the Blue Lion more than the yellow, just because of the head sculpt. So let's take a look at his accessories, shall we? And I'm gonna move closer. So this is pegged in at the bottom of his mouth here. You can tell there's a peg, some white paint right there for whatever reason. Yeah. And here's his little blade, which I think has a nice sculpt. It's not really too flimsy. I do have some, oh no, that was just dirt. And yep, there's the gray peg right there. I kind of would have preferred if it was blue just to blend in, but it honestly doesn't bother me. So there you go with that. And of course, here is his cannon. Looking pretty nice. A good sculpt, you know, it's really nothing too fancy. And I thought this could turn for a second, but yeah, there you go. And again, it pegs in on the sides, and all of his legs have these pegs, or these ports, rather. Yeah. And last but not least, and I'm going to hold the missile, is his missile launcher, which fires pretty well, and I'll show that off here in a second. So just a standard red plastic, gray plastic here, and they painted the blue, I think. But they definitely painted the blue, actually. I couldn't tell, unless I'm wrong. And it fires well. Yay. It can go a lot farther, obviously, but I'm not going to play that game again. Now, let's take a look at the Blue Lion. Let's start with this amazing head sculpt. Man, that is accurate to the 80s cartoon, isn't it? I love the blocky mold. I think it works so well. And yeah, he has a little bit of bleeding right over here on this yellow part. That's kind of ugly, but you know, it's Playmates. Couldn't really ask for a perfect figure, but yeah, so I really like the sculpt. Nice white paint. Overall good, and his mouth is spring loaded. So there's like the pilot in there. Nothing's really painted, just a white finish. And yeah, you know, mine does have a bit of bleeding. Like you can tell in the eyes that the yellow's leaking onto the blue a bit, but it's really not too bad. And there's yeah. So I like the glossy black too. And same goes for the rest of the lion. They use a standard gray plastic for these legs here, which are okay. I mean, he has a nice sculpt. Everything is molded very well, which I like. His little cute feet here, which are a bit rubberized, so they are not completely pliable. I mean, it depends on the pose you have, but usually they're no different than plastic. They'll get the job done. I mean, he stands quite well. And here's the rest of the figure. Again, very accurate to the original cartoon. There's the top of him, like the silver finish right here. And here's the other side. A lot of screw holes. I know some people may complain about that they didn't cover it up too well, but again, it's Playmates. You know, what can you do? Here are his legs. Again, the back paws are a pliable rubber material. And here's his tail, which is not articulated. I'm a tiny bit disappointed about that, but what can you do? I mean, it's just a standard plastic on a screw, which you can just fold back in if you want. But I don't know why you would do that, unless you would put him in Voltron mode. So, yeah, and as far as articulation goes, he has some pretty good articulation. Again, they didn't do that outward shoulder movement, maybe just a tiny bit. But I think that's just because the joints are loose. So his head can go up that much and down that much, and he can look side to side and rotate. And again, his mouth is on a spring. This is more for Voltron mode, but it can go... Oh, his accessory fell. Can go up that much and down that much. His arms, again, they can move out a little bit. They can rotate up and down. He has the knee joint and the ankle rotation. Forward and back, I mean. Same with the legs. You know, they get the job done. And there you go. And again, the tail can move up and down. So articulation is what you'd expect from Playmates. If you have the Legendary Defender stuff, then obviously you know what to expect. So let's put these accessories back on him and then take a look at the Yellow Lion. So again, you can attach this under his mouth. It's a little bit tricky. You just gotta get into the port. Eventually his teeth will sink in, and there you go. I think he looks really cool like that. And you can put the cannon really, I mean, it really should go on this side because it's pointed this way, because, you know, if you would do that, that would make no damn sense. So you can just peg it in back there, and of course my other accessories fell over and the missile fired. So just place that back in, and careful not to shoot it. And it fell out again. That's kind of a bitch to do, and there you go. Yeah, and for size comparison, if anybody is curious, here he is next to the Legendary Defender Blue Lion. Obviously, very different aesthetically. I know that for a fact. Very, very different, but I like them both. Obviously, I would prefer this guy, just because he's the one I know. When did this guy come out? 2015, the show. But, yeah, they're relatively the same size. I mean, obviously, this one's a bit thicker. In person, at least, he is. So, yeah. The cool thing that this one has is that his head can sink in a little bit, so you do have that mode of articulation, whereas this guy obviously can't do that because he didn't do that in the show, and he didn't do that in the original toy. I think it would have been cool if his head could pop off. I believe in the original toy those could, or was it the red and green? I honestly forgot. But yeah, and the cool thing this guy has is the rubberized tail. I know a lot of people weren't a fan of this just because it's kind of a, you know, a biatch to put that back in, but I thought it was kind of cool. It gave it more playability to me for whatever reason I had. But yep, there they are together. And of course, we can't forget the man himself. Look at his elegance. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, enough of that. Let's move on to the Yellow Lion, who I don't like as much as the blue, but is definitely something awesome. So, there he is. He is fully accessorized, just as the Blue Lion was. And let's take a look at those. So again, same thing. You just gotta plop it off, and there is his blade, which is a pretty nice sculpt. Hollow right here, which I'm not a fan of at all. That's kind of ugly. Come on, Playmates. Let's get your shit together a bit. But overall, it's a good mold. Just not a fan of those hollow parts. Really ugly, though. I mean, I'm sure you guys can agree. Like, ugh, gross. Okay, and this one's kind of hard to take out, but there is this right here. A bit pliable, these spikes. So, there you go. Nothing too fancy. I don't know how much time I should spend on this. And, alright, so here's his missile. Just gotta focus. Standard red plastic, and then here's the cannon. So yeah, and of course you just plop that in and then press this button on the top. Yay. Fun, fun. Okay. Let's move these aside and take a look at the Yellow Lion himself. So this guy has a little bit more going for him just because of the top here, which really isn't much, but I feel like he has more detail than the blue, a little bit more complex. So here is his wonderful little head sculpt. He looks really adorable. That nice detail on the side. Love the glossy black. Nice finish. Blue eyes, no leakage, which is awesome. And then you can open it up. You can see the pilot inside. The port teeth are nicely sculpted. Again, it's on the spring. And for a second I thought these could rotate, but they can't. Love that stripe on his head. Really nice looking. Here's the sides. Again, really not too different than the Blue Lion. A good mold overall. And here are his legs. Again, standard gray plastic. Same articulation. These are pliable. The paws, I mean. The top has a little bit more going. I do like this design here on the neck. So, a really nice finish there. Again, some bleeding. It's not, you know, too smooth, but what can you do? Here is the top. This is actually articulated, just as it was originally. I believe on the original toy it wasn't as this articulated, though. At least on mine. And this is kind of for the purpose of getting that tail out, because really, you can't get to the tail if this is down, so you can do that, and then there you go. Tail is free. Some nice gunmetal right there, or a silver rather. There are his fins on the back, nicely sculpted, and the tail is a generic gray plastic. So, overall, he's pretty looking. I do like this figure a lot. For articulation, his head can go down that much, up that much, side to side just a bit, and you can go rotate. Again, for the Voltron mode, this can go down, up and down I mean, and really the legs are nothing too different. So, yeah, and this can move up and down, and the tail of course, so, yeah, there he is. And let me get the Yellow Lion from Legendary Defender for a quick size comparison. This guy's a lot more menacing. I mean, look at that sculpt. He is kind of creepy looking, not gonna lie. This one went for the more, you know, kitty style. He's very cute, which I like. But this guy is, you know, he's scary looking. Look at those teeth. I mean, they're giant. But anywho, there's size. These are usually bigger, but yeah, there you go. So, and before I forget, we can never forget about him. Look at his elegance. Okay, I gotta stop doing that. Let's put his accessories back on, and then we can transform these guys. So again, just put this back in there. A little tricky at first, but he holds it very well. I mean, it's spring-loaded, so it's very tight. This, again, just put it on any ports on the legs. Ugh. And for this, do the same. And there you go. He's fully weaponized. And he looks good. I wish his head can turn a little bit more so you can get, you know, more posability. But still, I think he looks great. So yeah, and I'll bring the Blue Lion back over here. And I think these guys just look awesome. And for more size comparison, if you are curious, I do have a standard Marvel Legends figure here. Here they are next to the Back in Black Deadpool. I don't know why I brought them out of all of them, but yeah, they're pretty big. I mean, they're $20, and I want to say you get your money's worth, but the articulation is just a little blech. You know, and I think Playmates' excuse is, well, we're trying to replicate the toy, but, you know, I have the original toy. I kind of want something a bit more playable. What can you do? I think these guys look awesome. Before I forget, they do come with some instruction manuals and advertisements. I know some collectors are interested in this, so this is for the yellow lion. You know, if anybody is curious, there you go. And for the blue lion, and yeah, some people are interested in the directions. I mean, I've been around on YouTube for a while, so I have seen it all. People do want to see this. Yeah, but I don't like to spend too much time on it because, you know, people are here for the toys, not for the advertisements and the instructions, for which I will throw away. And honestly, why would you need instructions for these guys? They're pretty simple. That being said, let's transform them without instructions. So I'm going to take all their weapons off. Ugh. And we'll get this going. Let me actually move a bit closer, because, yeah. Let's just start with the blue lion. Take that off. And again, it's pretty simple, honestly. Just rotate the head up and accordion in those legs. Make sure the feet are parallel to the head so that you can, you know, stand him. Yeah. And then getting a bit tall and accordion those in just like you would on any Voltron toy, and fold in the legs. So, and you know, that extra head articulation does help, and he has a lot of playability when he's on Voltron, so you can get some good poses. So, there you go with that. And let's start with the yellow lion here. Again, remove those accessories. Of course, that fell out. And move that, and just as the blue lion, accordion those legs in. Nothing too incredibly fancy. Let's do that, and fold in that tail, lift, actually, let's do that, and there you go. Pretty cool. And there are the legs. Actually, I have them backwards. That's correct, right? That should be correct. Yep, there are the legs. Nothing fancy. I know. So, and I won't be forming Voltron this video, but, you know, for reference. And transforming them back is very, very simple. I mean, it takes you a matter of seconds. And he's back. Yay. Let's do the same. He's crooked, but that's okay. Put this guy back. I mean, these, you know, they're a lot of fun. Yeah, they're simple, but every Voltron is simple. Even the Solvchikogan one I heard and watched videos on it's very simple, you know. I mean, sure, they have a ton of articulation, but overall, yeah. So there they are. I definitely recommend these guys. They're a ton of fun, and honestly, if you had to make a choice between so I'm putting the accessories away, between the legendary lions and this guy, I would say go for this guy. It's ever so rarely that we get, you know, classic true lions in this day and age, especially at retail. You know, because these are sold at retail. They just hit stores this week, I'm pretty sure. It's currently, I believe, Thursday. On Tuesday, these guys got a new shipment, or Target got a new shipment, so they put out all of these guys, and they put out all the new Power of the Prime stuff, so I definitely recommend them. They are so much fun, and definitely worth it when you got all 5 lions and you can build Voltron. So, if you see these guys in stores, sure, they're a bit pricey, but you got no choice. They're Voltron. So, that's all I have to say about that. As usual, check out the Sanctuary on our Facebook community page, as well as our YouTube channel, where we currently host all of our live streams and podcasts. Check out the content creators of the Sanctuary, all of which are listed down below. And with that said, people, if you did enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, comment. Check out my site at SunSpotReviewz.com, and I'll see you guys in my next video.